The Detroit Pistons blew a golden opportunity to steal game one on the road against the New York Knicks. They go into the fourth quarter. They're up by 8, and it just went all downhill from there. Knicks open up that fourth quarter with a 21-0 run, fueled by Karl-Anthony Towns hitting some tough runners, campaign, three-point play, 2 threes, and a layup. He scores 11 in that 21-0 run, and of course, the Detroit Pistons had a whole bunch of turnovers throughout that whole entire thing. And from that moment forward, it just felt like they threw this huge haymaker that knocked this pretty young Detroit Pistons team out. They ended up outscoring them by 19 points in the fourth quarter. They, outscored them 40-21. I mean, just absolutely brutal. And I can't stress enough how much it feels like the Pistons blew a really great chance to win this game, not only because they had an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter, but they couldn't have shot the ball any better than what they did. They shot 47% from three. They were 15 of 32. The Knicks shot the ball pretty well as well. They were at like 39%, 38, 39%, but they were only 10 and 26. So the volume wasn't the same. When you outscore your opponent by 15 points from behind the three-point line, like, you need to win those games. And to make matters even worse for the Pistons, I don't think you're getting 25 points out of Tobias Harris in a playoff game again. We know his history. I know Philadelphia 76er fans watching that game were sick to their stomachs watching this dude lace three-pointers. He was 4 or 5 from 3, get to the rim, get fouled, finish. He played a really good game, but it was all for naught because they blew an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. And to make matters worse, not worse, I just feel like if this was Cade Cunningham's second time around in the playoffs, the Pistons win this game because it just took him a little bit too long to get going. Goes into halftime, 3 of 10 from the field, only 6 points, 6 assists, which was nice, but he played much better in the second half. And I just wonder if he has a good, solid first half, where maybe he scores 12 instead of 6, then maybe they end up pulling that game out. He just felt a little overwhelmed at the start, and that's not really a shot at him. That's just the reality of playing in your first NBA playoff game. Duran got off to a slow start. Asar Thompson wasn't great there in the beginning either. It just took those young guys for the Pistons a little. It took them a half to get adjusted to playing in the NBA playoffs, and that's just the reality. It's part of why it's really tough and not fun to bet on young teams. But this is going to be a fun series. There were a couple scuffles, and the Knicks aren't going to back down, and the Pistons, led by Isaiah Stewart, are going to keep bringing it to him. You had a little Malik Beasley pushing Jalen Brunson there at the end. Also, he shot 6 of 12 from 3. I know he's an excellent three-point shooter, made the second most during the NBA regular season, but I don't think he's going to shoot 6 of 12 again from 3. Definitely not on the road in New York in the Garden. So feels like the Pistons missed a bit of an opportunity, but you have to give credit to the New York Knicks, who played really well. Jalen Brunson, it took him a half to get going, finished with 34 points and 8 assists, but that first half just wasn't smooth. His ankle, you can tell he's not 100%, but look, he had 34 points and 8 assists. It's hard to really complain about what he did. OG Anunoby scoring 12 points in that first quarter was so big for the Knicks because Jalen Brunson got off to such a slow start. And even though, the box score watchers, when they go through and they look, they're going to see 34 points and 8 assists and be like, oh, Jalen Brunson was the best player for the Knicks tonight. He wasn't. It was Karl-Anthony Towns. That dude was awesome. Nothing short of that. 23 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. I mean, the guy was everywhere. He did everything asked of him and more. The Pistons don't have anyone who can really guard him. Isaiah Stewart's too small. Asar Thompson is too small. He's a much improved driver on the season, and as we all know, he can really shoot the basketball. So the Pistons are going to have to figure out a way to stop that guy, or they're going to have to, keep shooting 47% from 3 to give themselves a chance to win some of these games. And I'm very intrigued to see how these young guys for the Pistons looking game 2. I think Cade Cunningham's going to have a really good game 2 now that he's settled in a little bit, even though you have to give credit to OG Anunoby, who I thought did a really good job defending him. The Pistons they're going to make this series tough because they're a good, strong-nosed or hard-nosed defensive team. And the Knicks don't have a ton of depth. I talked a little bit about how, like, we're probably not going to see Malik Beasley go 6 of 12 from three again, or Tobias Harris do what he did. But I also don't think we're going to see Cam Payne score 11 points in the fourth quarter. I don't think we're going to see that again either. And really, just for the Knicks in general, that is going to be a big thing for them, because I do think that they'll win this series. I think a lot of people think that. And when they play Boston, probably in that second round, like, they're going to need production off their bench. McBride scoring 0 points probably isn't going to happen again, but like, they need a little something extra, because their starters are awesome. Mikal Bridges didn't have a great night tonight. He was like minus 16, but we all know that Mikal Bridges is an excellent basketball player. He's just had a tough night tonight, but they need a little extra punch off their bench, whether it's McBride, maybe it's Cam Payne doing what he did tonight. So not even just for this series, but for, potentially the next series, or if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, or the NBA Finals. Like, they need something off their bench to kind of help uplift the rest of these starters. And Cameron Payne, he provided that tonight. And when they get that lift, man, they're really tough to beat, because that starting lineup, like, their best five is as good as anyone's, right? It's 6, 7, and 8 that have some questions. And when those guys rise to the occasion, like Cameron Payne did tonight, leading that 21-0 run to start the fourth quarter, they're pretty dang tough to beat. So thanks for taking the time out of your day to check out this video. I've got reaction videos for game one up of Nuggets Clippers and Pacers Bucks as well. So feel free to go and check those out. I greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe as well. And I'll talk to you after the Lakers and Timberwolves game.